Hi everyone and welcome to another watercolor video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint 3 different bookmarks using 3 fruits. So grab your watercolor paper, your paintbrushes, and your paints and let's get started. By the way, I've included the links of the paintbrushes that I'm using in the description of this video, so if you'd like to check those out and add them to your collection, you are more than welcome to do so. Also, I did release a video, a more specific tutorial in completely real time of how to paint a kiwi, so if you want to check that out, if this is a little bit too speedy for you, I've included the link to that video in the description of this video, and I've also included the link in the top right corner of this video. So basically, to start out with the kiwis, what we're going to do is apply a layer of water with a little bit of green hue in a circular or ovular shape, because we're basically going to be painting a kiwi as if it had been cut in half. Just ignore the brown parts. I was trying to paint the outside of a kiwi, but I decided not to really go through with that. And basically you're just going to be adding more and more layers to your kiwi while it is still wet, just making sure that you're lifting off the paint as it bleeds into the center of the kiwi, because we want to leave that part, that cream white color that a kiwi usually is, because that's where the lines sort of come out of and that's where the seeds grow. So you just want to make sure that you are keeping that center nice, bright and white. Once your layers have completely dried, you're going to take a slightly darker green color, more similar to the outside of your kiwi, and you're going to create a bunch of linear lines coming from the, I would say, halfway point of your kiwi going outwards. And you do want to make sure that the little circle or rather oval that you create in the center isn't completely perfect. You want it to be irregular in shape, because if you look at a real kiwi, that center creamy white portion is never perfectly circular. It's always a little bit uneven and edgy. Once those layers have completely dried, you're going to paint on your black seeds, and for some reason my video corrupted here, so I lost that portion. But it's really easy. You just want to paint on 1 or 2 seeds per darker line that you painted earlier, and it doesn't have to be completely perfect. You can paint 2 seeds on one line and then 1 seed on another line. You can skip some lines, it doesn't really matter. But you can also add some accents using white acrylic paint, and you can even add some white lines as an additional accent. Don't forget to also take a really fine brush and, using brown watercolor, just create the little hairs on the edges of the kiwi, because as we know, kiwis are pretty hairy on the outside, so you want to add that little bit of extra detail. Moving on to the second bookmark, we're going to be painting strawberries, and this design is a lot easier than it looks. So I do suggest that you perhaps sketch out your strawberry using a pencil first, just so that you are following the correct shape of a strawberry. But starting towards the tail end of the strawberry, sort of where it tapers off, you're going to take an orange color and basically just paint on the tip, and then, you know, having it fade into red, you're going to leave these tiny little white spaces. So you're basically just going to paint on these tiny white circles using the red as sort of an outline. And this is so that you can create that illusion of seeds. But what you also want to do is add sort of an accent or a highlighted area of the strawberry, and this is what that box is that I just painted on. This is sort of to insinuate that there is a highlight on the strawberry, that is where the light is reflecting off of, but it's really easy to create. You're basically doing the reverse of the rest of the strawberry. You're just painting on red dots instead of outlining circles with red. Be sure to finish off the rest of the strawberry using the exact same technique, and you can even end with a little bit of yellow or orange at the top of the strawberry, and you can even add some green leaves or like a stem coming from the strawberry if you wish, but this is completely optional. I have decided to speed up the rest of the strawberries just because I felt that you got the point after the first strawberry and I didn't want to be too redundant. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to ask you guys to perhaps like this video if you are enjoying it, because it does help a small YouTuber such as myself to grow a little bit, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you are enjoying this video. So moving on to the very last fruit, we're going to be painting a bunch of citrus fruits, and before doing this particular design, I would recommend, again, just like the strawberries, using a pencil to outline perfect circles for your oranges and your lemons. And then you're going to take yellow, orange, and maybe even a little bit of red watercolor, and you're going to fill in the triangles that you outlined with a pencil earlier. It's really a lot easier to do this if you create a guide for yourself using pencil. If you look really closely, you can see those faint pencil lines that I've drawn in for myself, and it's just much easier to have a pencil guide of where to paint your subsections for your orange and your lemon, rather than trying to freehand it, because then you run the risk of all of your little triangle subsections not meeting perfectly in the middle or in the center. So just take my advice and use a pencil first just to outline the orange and the subsections of the orange. But basically what you want to do here is just fade the colors yellow into orange into a little bit of red, while leaving these linear white sections kind of blank, because that insinuates, again, reflection of light off of the plump citrus fruit. Just a little bit of a tip here: if you make a mistake here or there, that's totally okay, especially if you have acrylic paint or white gouache. You can just touch up your mistakes using either gouache or acrylic paint. So for example, at the end of this video, I did go over some of my borders because I wasn't really happy with how they turned out. Just make sure that you leave a little bit of a really rough star shape in the center of the citrus fruit, because that is typically what they look like in real life. So moving on, I'm using a very similar technique to paint on the lemon, and the only real difference here is that instead of drawing out a little map of 8 triangles, I chose 6, and this is because lemons are smaller and it would just be a little bit more complicated to paint 8 tiny triangles compared to 6 slightly larger triangles. And the other difference is that I did mix in a little bit of black into my yellow just to give it a little bit of contrast and to help it stick out a little bit. Just because yellow is really bright, sometimes it's difficult to see the tiny details, and to add a little bit more contrast with the white highlights. So you want to repeat this exact same pattern, alternating between various citrus fruits. You can even add limes here if you like painting limes. I already had a green fruit, the kiwi, so I didn't want to paint any more green fruits, but you can honestly do whatever you would like. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Again, if you enjoyed my video today, please don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also check out some of my previous uploads, including my more in-depth kiwi tutorial. Have a great day, guys!